Hello everybody, my name is Zach, aka the Weather Gamer, bringing you the first half of the G8DL, the Gen 8 Draft League, the the Gmax League. So I've been meaning to record these battles, and I just haven't. I've been busy or whatever when it's time for the battle to happen. And so yeah, I've played the first 4 weeks without actually recording. I'm going to try to record the last 3 weeks. But if I happen to screw it up, then we'll get it taken care of like this. So we'll track the journey through the first 4 weeks. So up first I played Major with his Rillaboom team. It is Gmax Rillaboom. Again, Gmax is forced to hold Pokeballs. I have Gmax Lapras with Freeze Dry, Thunder, or not Thunder, Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, and Reflect. Sylveon was a Wish Pass Hyper Voice set. Drill was a Mold Breaker set with X Scissor, Iron Head, Rapid Spin, and Earthquake. I had Zeraora, which was physical, pretty much my standard physical Zeraora set. Plasma Fist, Close Combat knockoff, and Volt Switch. I had Spexed, Chandelure with Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, and Will-O-Wisp, and I had Noivern, which was Hurricane Defog, or Hurricane U-Turn, Flamethrower, and Draco Meteor, I believe. I go ahead and lead off Lapras right away versus the Miltank, put up a Reflect, and switch into Sylveon. Sylveon probably being my only way to do that by Toxicking. I Toxic the Rotom, and unfortunately he calls my bluff knowing that I was going to go into Zeraora on what was assumed to be a Will-O-Wisp or a Volt Switch, and he burns Zeraora, basically crippling it for the entire game. I do go for my own Volt Switch to pivot, and Rotom Wash continues to be a problem. I'm going back into Sylveon, as it's probably my best way of dealing with Rotom. He Volt switches into Darmanitan as I go for a Wish, trying to pass into something. He does Flare Blitz. I could have easily gone into Chandelure there, but I was afraid of a Rock Slide or a Earthquake after he had predicted me on the Zeraora switch. So I went into Noivern knowing that I could tank a Fire-type hit, and I had a Wish coming. So I ended up healing. I do switch right back into Chandelure. I go for a Will-O-Wisp to try and reduce what this thing can do. I made the mistake of not bringing Defog, and it really comes back to bite me. Oh, I was Heavy Duty Boots. Oh, that's what I was. I did have Spin. I predict the Rillaboom coming in and go for an X Scissor, and then switch back out to Zeraora. I don't know why he didn't Gmax, but it is what it is. Obviously, Zeraora is useless at this point. There's nothing I can do, so I'm just going to let it go down to the Sylveon. I bring Lapras in and go ahead and max as he parting shots and makes Lapras pretty much useless. I wanted to get Veil up to maybe give myself a chance to get set up with Drill. Brings in the very bulky Rotom. There's nothing I can do. I just keep pounding away at it. But with me being at minus special attack, I switch to Sylveon. Volt Switch is going to drop me down. I thought through Veil I might live this, being that he was Scarfed, but Darmanitan is such a bulky bastard that I didn't end up living, or such a bulky attacker. Lapras is going to end up flinching here and go down to the Miltank, so I don't even have a way to get Reflect up. Noivern comes in. I see the lefties. I'm just trying to Hurricane this thing down at this point. Just trying to get rid of it. Rotom Wash comes in. Again, I Hurricane to try and knock it out. And he recovers with a Berry. Still don't get the KO. As he Volt switches into Darm. I know it's Scarf Darm. Again, I go Chandelure. This time he does Rock Slide. And yeah, we kind of just... I X Scissor predicting the Rillaboom. I did not have a good way of hitting this Silvally, and yeah, I end up going down 6-0. It was bad. Very, very bad game. And I got dropped 6-0 to start the season. So, great start. Week 2, I did bring my Sandro. It was Sand Rush. It was Min Speed. Gigalith to try and outrun a Min Speed. G-Max Hatterene. I had Zeraora with, I know, Plasma Fist, Fire Punch, Close Combat, and Play Rough. Might have been Volt Switch, but I know Play Rough was on there for the Kommo-o. Virizion was a Swords Dance set. Chandelure was a Scarfed set, and I brought Goalie in to try and first impression, liquidation, kill where I could. So Mamo versus Virizion, I find out that it's Scarfed, and yeah, that ends Virizion having to switch out. I go into Chandelure, in comes Incineroar, which was not the prediction. I go ahead and Energy Ball and screw that one up. U-turns as I go into Sand, here comes Hatterene. I stay in Stone Edge, misses, which sucks, and then Trick Room goes off. Dynamaxes as I go for another Stone Edge, showing that I'm slower. Max Mindstorm hurts. And then I Stone Edge again, and it turns out we're Speed tied. Was not Min Speed. I go ahead and Leech Life because I am Min Speed Golisopod. Knocks off my Heavy Duty Boots as I knock off the Assault Vest. Liquidation takes him down to 47. The Mega Horn forces me out, which is fine. That's what I wanted. Virizion gets the Close Combat kill. So, in comes Mamo. I'm just going to take the hit. I go into Chandelure because I'm Scarf. The Fire Blast does not kill the Mamoswine. I go into Golisopod. I first impression. Get a nice chunk off on the Milotic. Zeraora comes in, and Incineroar comes in as I go for the knockoff, getting rid of the second Assault Vest. Drill comes in, dies to a crit Flare Blitz. Zeraora comes in, go for the knockoff again. This time I play rough and get rid of Jingle Jangle. Mamo's going to come in, there's nothing I can do about that. Golisopod's going to come in as I go for Leech Life and try to get some health here. And this thing goes to sleep. So I'm just going to start siphoning health off, trying to keep myself healthy, because if I got close to full, I could take a hit from the Mamoswine. Incineroar comes in, Intimidate drops, sucks, I get the knockoff. Goes for Darkest Lariat, I go for Leech Life to heal again, and I'm back to 50%. And here we go. Round and round, Milotic and Golisopod are going to go. And it gets into kind of a stall fest. With me being at -1 attack, though, I needed a crit because I just could not do anything. And unfortunately, I get the crit right there when I needed the crit when this thing was down lower. Like, if I get the crit on one of the sleep turns, like, that would have been perfect. I went for knockoff, and you'll see I start to alternate knock and other moves because I have to preserve Leech Life. It's my only way of getting health. I have to stay healthy enough in order to not die to the Milotic and also not die on switch to the Mamoswine. So, I start alternating knock, Leech Life, liquidation, and then I'll start clicking first impression because I have to keep my Leech Lives up. And we literally go round and round. Unfortunately, the Intimidate drop on Goalie really seals the deal. If I'd liquidated on that turn and not had to burn, gets the freeze, I forgot, and then I immediately thought out. But I just don't have the, and then a crit. I just didn't have the moves to do it. So we start 0-2 -8. Great start to the league. And then I blow the team up. As you can see here, one of the new members already, Durant. I ended up dropping Noivern. Well, actually, I dropped Excadrill for Necrozma. I dropped Noivern for Flygon. I dropped Gigalith for Durant, and I dropped Solrock for Togetic. Noivern, just I needed a ground type with me dropping Drill, so I grabbed Flygon and got rid of Noivern. I grabbed Togetic to give me a new flying type, as well as another fairy type. I like pairing Togetic and Togekiss with another fairy so they can do their fairy things. Togetic is very hard to kill because it's just so damn bulky. Durant was a mon that I'd wanted to try. It gave me dual first impression, so I could, you know, just first impression the hell out of everything to try and not die all the time. So, but we play topsy-turvy here. I bring G-Max Lapras with, I believe it's Thunderbolt, Freeze Dry, Hydro Pump, and I don't remember the fourth move. It's Sub, Bulk Up, Plasma Fist, Close Combat, Zero Aura. It is Banded Golisopod with Aqua Jet, First Impression, Leech Life, and Poison Jab. It is Hone Claws Durant with Superpower, X Scissor, and I don't remember the last move. It is Scarf Chandelure again with its normal set, and then it's Wish Pass Sylveon again, defensive Sylveon, in order to try and take a hit from Dracovish. I did have Mystic Fire for the Corviknight, so he leads Crook against Goalie, which is a terrible lead. I just go ahead and close combat, predicting him to Stealth Rock on me, trying to make a switch, knowing that I'd die to any rock move. I close combat, get a fair chunk off on that Corviknight. He doubles back into the Crook, making the correct prediction this time as I switched into Chandelure. I'm afraid of Scarfed Crook, so immediately I switch into Durant as he Stealth Rocks. I go for the Hone Claws with the amount of damage that Corviknight had taken from Golisopod after Hone Claws superpower will end up killing it from Durant being Life Orb. And bada boom, down goes that. He ends up bringing in the Crook again to Intimidate Cycle me. I am going to X-Scissor to try and go for the kill. I live on 1 off the knockoff, which is great. And I do find out that this thing is Scarfed, which was my fear that it was Scarfed. X-Scissor, because of the Life Orb loss, did not kill. Had he not been Scarfed, if he was banded, and I still had my Life Orb, I would have killed him here and gone down myself. Instead, I chunk the Crook down quite a ways, and then I end up dying to a knockoff. I bring in Golisopod. I go for the Aqua Jet. The reason I Aqua Jetted instead of First Impression was in case Charizard were to come in. I wanted, if I could catch that with an Aqua Jet, it would have been great. I knew that Slowking wasn't coming in, and he'd already seen Close Combat, so I didn't think P2 was coming in. The real problem would have been if Vish had come in, and I tried to Aqua Jet Vish, but I do Aqua Jet here. I get Steve down, Trace the emergency exit, as I switch into Chandelure, immune to Tri Attack. Goes for the I go for Will-O-Wisp as he Thunderbolts. So I have P2 burned, which is not great, but I had also predicted Dracovish, which is why I did that. Pretty sure I was Scarf Chandelure, so I outran Scarf Vish. I go ahead and make the switch, knowing that Tri Attack is, I'm immune to it. I make the switch into Zeraora, predicting another Thunderbolt, and I go Sylveon. I see Thunderbolt again, which makes me think that Tri-Attack and Thunderbolt are the only 2 attacks that this thing has, because I would assume it's got Recover, and then probably either Status or Thunder Wave, or Toxic. or status. Yeah, Toxic or Thunder Wave plus Recover, Tri-Attack, and Thunderbolt. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Sylveon in order to take the hit as I'm Spadef bulky. And then I can Wish Pass around if I need to. I see the Tri-Attack. I Mystic Fire to drop the Special Attack 1 stage. That should keep Tri-Attack from breaking Zeraora's sub, because the whole thought here is now I'll Wish and go into Zeraora. And then have Zeraora at full. I can sub and try to start bulking up in front of the P2. If I get a bulk up and I can keep a sub up before Vish comes in, or if I can get to +2 before a Scarf Vish were to come in, then Zeraora should sweep. I see the Toxic, so that confirms that Tri-Attack and Thunderbolt are the only 2 attacks. He can't Tri-Attack Zeraora, because if Zeraora Plasma Fist, Tri-Attack becomes an electric type attack and heals me, and he'd be able to Thunderbolt. So this is why I toss the Wish and immediately go to pivot into Zeraora as he recovers. Now I'm at full, I go for the sub, Tri-Attack, damage, doesn't break, because of the fact that I had gotten the special attack drop. I can go ahead and bulk up behind the sub. Tri-Attack does break, and this is where I had a 50-50 call, and I wasn't sure if this was where I wanted to bulk up a second time, because if I got the second bulk up, Dracovish couldn't kill me. If I go for sub here and he Toxics, then I'm behind the sub, I get the second bulk up anyways. If I bulk up and he Toxics me, then Zeraora immediately starts to slow down and may not be in a sweeper position. I go ahead and sub as he makes the change into Slowking. I have to Plasma Fist here. I can't actually get the second bulk up because this thing probably has Dragon Tail. That's the only reason he would switch it in. My guess is he switched it in thinking I would sub like I did, and then he could Dragon Tail me out as I went for a bulk up or something. Instead, I go for Plasma Fist, and I clear out the Lenny. P2 comes in. This time it's going to trace my Volt Absorb, which was a smart play because he'd seen sub bulk up Plasma Fist. He must have assumed that Volt Switch was my last move, so he was trying to force me out. Unfortunately, it's not. It's close combat, and I take out P2. I'm still at neutral defense. I still have a sub in front of me, and the Vish can come in, break the sub. I'll get the Plasma Fist off. I'll get a Leftovers Recovery, and I should live Officious Rend if he's Scarfed. Turns out he's not Scarfed because I Plasma Fist first. It's not going to kill Jaws, but he does Officious Rend. At this point, because I'm faster, I can just Plasma Fist. And at +1 attack, Charizard, even G-Maxed, will not live a Plasma Fist, and I know I'm faster than it. Even if I wasn't, I still had Aqua Jet that I could do. So, Zeraora, sub-bulk up Zeraora. First time I brought the set, cleaned up, getting 5 kills. 4 kills, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. The biggest mistake made was letting Crook go down. Granted, if I still had the sub up when Crook came in, I would have killed it with close combat, but we turn it around. After starting 0-2 -8, we get a 5-0 win to kick things off. So, oh, looks like my battle music quit again. Properties. I don't know why. I still haven't figured out which. I've taken different songs out and it hasn't changed it, so that was week 3. We're 1-2 -3. Coming into week 4, we've got G-Max Cinderace versus us plus a Melmetal. I believe it was Scarfed Chandelier again. It was Honeclaw's Durant again. Same Lapras set that I've been running, except I brought Reflect again. Zeraora was Close Combat Knock, Volt Switch, and Plasma Fists. It was Sub Swords Dance, Virizion, and it was Dragon Dance Flygon. Rotom versus Zeraora was a great lead for me. I predicted a Will-O-Wisp to come off of this again, because why wouldn't Rotom's Will-O-Wisp me? I'm just going to Volt Switch and go immediately into Chandelure. Nice little Flash Fire boost there. This is going to scare him out, but he protects as I go for Energy Ball, so now he knows he can switch into something else. I make the dumb play of going into Lapras, predicting, and he ends up going into the Wolf. I U-turn on the Rotom coming in, and here comes Virizion. I go for the sub. The reason is because I've seen the Will-O-Wisp. I'm predicting him to want to Will-O-Wisp Virizion. So sub protects that, and I get the call right. I'm going to go ahead and Swords Dance, because this thing can't do much to me behind the sub. If Leaf Storm and Volt Switch are its only 2 attacks, which is how it looks, my sub should stay intact, and I can get to +2, and that should, barring a Scarfer, put me in sweeper position as long as the sub stays up in front of the Cinderace. And Melmetal's going to bop to the close combat. Still got the sub. Cinderace comes in, and Pyroballs or Max Steel Spikes. So the Max Steel Spike was a great play. I did not anticipate Iron Head being used by Cinderace against me. It's actually going to save the Cinderace from dying, that +1 defense. Had he not gotten the defense boost, I was going to do about 90% to him. And would have just absolutely crushed the Cinderace down hard. I make the switch from Virizion at +2 because it's going to die to Flygon. I determined Flygon was probably my least valuable member here. I could have easily gone into Chandelure, predicting the G-Max Fireball, but I didn't see Flygon doing a whole lot with Melmetal gone and Cinderace chunked. The Fireball does a lot, and then he goes for Darkness to burn the last G-Max turn to kill Flygon. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Lapras and max it. Go for a Max Guard to see. He low kicks, which I forget if low kick is one of the moves that doesn't work on G-Max Mons, but I max guarded just to see. Plus, if he high jump kicked, I would have gotten him down to 6% off of high jump kick. I end up burning my G-Max and switching right away, going into Chandelure, predicting Powerball. He Sucker Punches, I Shadow Ball, it takes that out. I was a very bulky Chandelure. Primarina comes in. I have no switch into this thing that I want to give up. So I'm just going to Shadow Ball again, as I assume I'm going to die to a Water-type move. He ends up Toxicking, I think predicting Lapras to come in. I go ahead and Shadow Ball again, putting even more chip damage. Moonblast takes me out. I go into Durant. I'm Hone Clawsing because at this point, outside of the Wolf, Durant wins with a Hone Claws up. Iron Head can kill the Primarina. X-Scissor will kill the Rotom. Iron Head will kill the Lycanroc, and I'll do a ton of damage to Palisand either way. I just forget how terribly defensive Durant is, because I die to a Surf. So I'm going to go Zeraora, and I knock off. The reason I knocked off was because I was predicting a situation where he might try to bring in like a Scarfed Lycanroc, or possibly Palisand, predicting me to Volt Switch. Knocking off the Palisand would have been great. Knocking off Scarf off of the Lycanroc would have been very good as well. I think he also assumed that I was banded because I went for knockoff instead of something else. So he brings in the Wolf. I have to stay in at this point because Stone Edge is going to rock Virizion. I don't want to take a play rough with... Or Stone Edge will rock Lapras. I don't want to take a play rough with Virizion and Earthquake. If he's Scarfed, Earthquake's going to hurt Zeraora, and I'll know he's Scarfed then, and I can go into Virizion and try to get set up again. I close combat. It ends this Lycanroc's day. I go ahead and knock off the Palossand, take out its Cassibberry. He does Scorching Sand. The Shukaberry is going to save me. Unfortunately, Zeraora just attracts these burns. The first Scorching Sand burns me, making Zeraora practically useless. I switch into Lapras as he shores up, and I'm going to start Freeze Drying. Giga Drain sucks, but I should be able to Freeze Dry him down to 2%, which I do. Shore Up is not going to save him. Freeze Dry ends up taking that out. In comes the Rotom. I'm going to make the switch into the Zeraora, predicting him to try to Volt Switch and kill Lapras, because he, at this point, I know his last move is Leaf Storm, and he cannot go for the Leaf Storm. With 3 Mons against 1, he can't reduce his special attack like that. He has to just keep Volt Switching at me. So I make the play into Zeraora. I get the correct call. Volt Absorb. I forced him now to where he has to Leaf Storm. He protects as I go for knockoff, trying to get rid of his lefties. I forced him into Leaf Storming. I go Lapras on the Leaf Storm, and now he's basically useless. It allows me to go Virizion at -2 special attack. He's not breaking. All I have to do is Swords Dance in close combat. And it's over. And for the second week in a row, a sub setup mon has allowed me to pull off a victory. So I definitely am enjoying sub setup. It's a new ability that I've found to like. And Zeraora and Virizion carry me back to where I'm at now, which is 2-2 -1. So, no, 2-2. Yeah, 2-2 -1. I started 0-2 -8, and I've gone 2-0 +2. So there is a chance I can sneak into playoffs. If I win out, I should make it in at 5-2. I'd be very surprised if I didn't, but I still have to play Jake, Thriller, and Jimmy. Those are my last 3. If I win all 3, then we should make it in. If I lose one of those, it's going to be a toss-up whether or not I make playoffs. Because only the top 4 go in. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. I know this was a long one. That's the first half of the season. I'll see you guys for the second half.